Hey Lan, hi folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new, I use he and pronouns, a few random tech updates with my gear. My Rode receivers weren't working and then today it just turned on again, so I'm filming a video. My tripod is broken. It's still functional and I'm filming on it right now, but the handle where I tighten the positioning of the tripod is broken, so I probably need a new one. I did buy this like $8 one from Kmart and it's the flexible one, but it's way too short. Like it doesn't match the height of where I need it to be. It's too short. And I have a ring light thing and the stand for it broke, but the light still works. And I tried it. Just let me try this. It seems like the lighting's better, so I'm gonna do that. So, yes. In this video, I'm going to be re-listening to my original song, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about it. I mean, I feel a little bit embarrassed about it. It's my original song that I made in 2020. The ring lights reflecting on my glasses. Yeah, I'll commentate and just share my reflections, even though I'm just like I don't like listening to myself sing. Like I made a few songs before. I mean I made this song and I made song covers before, but I don't like listening to myself sing. I like singing for fun, but I don't like listening to myself sing back once it's recorded. So and yes, in case you noticed and are wondering, I am wearing a hoodie over a t-shirt because it's currently winter in Melbourne. It's only the first month of winter, so winter in Melbourne is June, July, August, and it's already freezing. It's like 12 degrees during the day today, and now it's like, it is currently 7 degrees, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, and it's 7 degrees. Yeah, it's a really cold winter this year so far for Melbourne. It wasn't this cold last year. Yeah. I was just finding my lyrics that I wrote in my Google Drive, and I still have it on my Google Drive. I have a lot of things on my Google Drive, and maybe I'm stalling because I don't want to listen to myself sing. But I'll also put the lyrics in the description box of this video so you can follow along. Yeah, let's go.
My name is Lev, or you can call me Levi. I'm a trans guy.
With the whole music thing and the production, I really didn't know what the hell I was doing, honestly. Instrumental, it might be a little bit loud here. I didn't really follow, what is it, beats per minute. I didn't follow bars, like sliding lyrics on bars and considering instrumentals. I didn't really know what I was doing. It was like my first original song, and then yeah, I just put something together and that was the result of it as a form of self-expression. I sort of wish I had this courage to just do something so spontaneous again, because I'm so serious now and I'm just like, you have to plan everything out and just like, I want to reignite this part of me where I'm just like spontaneous. Yeah, and I also link the song below if you want to listen to it.
This is normative world got me to believe that I'm normal and a freak. A disgrace to the human race. How could I love myself?
Yes, I was gonna say I made this song a year after coming out as trans. So I posted at the end of 2020, like December 31st. So I came out as trans like early that year. So I was like, I made this song after a year, and I was referring to a lot of internalized transphobia that I was going through at the time. So the cisnormative world got me to believe that I'm abnormal and a freak, a disgrace to the human race. So this song is a lot of reflection about the internalized transphobia that I was working through and also coming out the other end of it. So let's keep going.
When I believe I'm abnormal and wrong, and that being me is not okay. Intelligence is harmful and destructive, but I've overcome them now.
So the lyrics were, I realized that the instrumental was a bit overpowering, the vocals. I said, so the whole thing, that whole section goes, this cisnormative world got me to believe that I'm abnormal and a freak, a disgrace to the human race. How could I love myself when I believe I'm abnormal and wrong, and that being me is not okay? Internalized transphobia is harmful and destructive, but I've overcome that now. The other part of the song is sort of trying to break down stigma and destigmatize that being trans is wrong and that being trans is abnormal, etc. And at the end of that paragraph, I said I've overcome that now because I didn't fully overcome it at that time. But during the year 2020, I went through gender therapy and started confronting a lot of the internalized transphobia I was experiencing and starting to build my own narrative essentially and not live my trans life off the narrative that society has written for me that's very incorrect, very harmful, very damaging, such as being trans is not, it's not okay to be trans, being trans is an abomination, it's abnormal, it's wrong. There's a lot of stigma and very negative, unhelpful, damaging things. So yeah. So my voice at this time was like 2 weeks, rather like 2-3 weeks before I started testosterone. So I posted this at the end of 2020. So it was like I started testosterone January 12th, 2021. So it was like a few weeks before I started testosterone. So that was my testosterone voice. So no T yet. And it feels really weird to hear that back and realize how high my voice was at the time. Yeah, okay, let's go to the next section of the song. I'm still cringing internally, god damn it.
Gone from a skate boy, living in denial and a world of hurt. To a guy who's confident in being himself, living in his own skin and identity with pride.
So, I said, going from a lost and scared boy living in denial and a world of hurt to a guy who's confident in being himself, living in his own skin and identity with pride. I don't know how the hell I came up with these lyrics, but it's good. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, I was a lost and scared boy living in denial for a long time. And when I released this song, I still felt scared. Like I'm not as confident as I am now. So that version of Lev, like 2.5 years ago, is not the same version of Lev now. So I'm a lot more confident now compared to 2.5 years ago. But at the time of writing that song, I was a lot more confident than I was at the start of 2020. So the year that passed, I was a lot more. So the version of Lev who sang this song is more confident than the version of Lev when he just came out as trans, but the version of Lev now is a lot more confident than the version of Lev that wrote this song and sang this song at that time. I hope that makes sense. We're almost at the end of the song. We're almost at the end of the song. I am genuinely uncomfortable listening to myself sing. I'm not like making these facial expressions up. I'm rehearing it for the first time again in like over 2 years, and it's literally being captured on camera. So this is all like first take re-listening to this. So yeah.
Not giving any care in the world about what others may think. 2020 has been a year of liberation from my demons.
So the last 3 lines of that paragraph went, not giving any care in the world about what others might think, 2020 has been a year of liberation from my demons. I control fear. Wait, I didn't play that.
I control fear, it no longer controls me.
Yep. And then it goes, I control fear and no longer controls me. I said that in the song, like I didn't give any care in the world, but I still cared about what people think. It was still building, the foundation isn't as solidified compared to right now. I'm fidgeting when I'm watching this video, and I usually don't fidget when I make YouTube videos, so because I'm just really yeah, I still care about what people think. I wasn't as self-confident as I am now, but it was coming along. It was coming along. The detaching myself from internalized transphobia, which is the demons I'm referring to, is the internalized transphobia, and how I hated myself so much and wished I wasn't trans, and basically bashed myself internally for being trans, because I learned my whole life up until I started detaching from the internalized transphobia that being trans is wrong. So I absolutely hated myself for being trans. And I said, I control fear, no longer controls me. I had some degree of control over fear, but not as much as I do now as well. But again, a lot more confident than I was when I first came out as trans. The last section of the song.
I am trans, I am valid, I am not abnormal, I bleed red, I am human.
So the last sections were, I am trans, I am valid, I am not abnormal, I bleed red, I am human. I actually love that. It's just a really nice reminder, actually. That last part especially is really good reminder that underneath my trans identity, I am human. And being trans is just one part of my human experience, one part of my human identity. It's not the whole thing. It's just one part of it. But ultimately, I'm still human. And I think I wrote that last section as a little self-validation, like I'm trans, I'm valid, I'm not abnormal. It's also, I think, a way for me to remind myself that I am not what society thinks I am for being trans, and it's part of like breaking out of internalized transphobia. And the line, I bleed red. We all bleed red, regardless of our identity, our skin color, our sexuality, our religion, our background. We're all human. We all bleed red. But we don't all get treated as humans, even though we are all human and we all bleed red, regardless of who we are. Yeah, I think it's also Pride Month, so I would say a little thing. So yeah, a little message is all of us LGBT folks should be able to live our truths and our lives out the way we should be able to live our truth and our lives as who we are, instead of someone that other people expect us to be, or the way other people want us to live our lives. Like, for example, if I'm trans, or if someone wants me to live as a cis guy, not cis guy, oh my god, a cis woman, sorry, my brain's just a little wonky, then that would lead to so much distress, dysphoria, and just I would not be able to function properly. But if I was forced, whether implicitly or explicitly, to live as someone I'm not. And while it might take time before we can get there, like live our truths fully and embrace ourselves fully, I'm mindful that there are places in the world that it's depending on where we live in the world, it might be very different in terms of how open we're allowed to be, and possible consequences for being ourselves in certain places, and the stigma and things it's just different in different parts of the world. But I do want to acknowledge that while we might not be able to control the external factors, like how other people see us, or the rules of society, unfortunately, or the rules of where we live, or that sort of thing, or the external things, something we can regain power over is how we see ourselves. It's like everyone else might see us as abomination or not normal or like just shame us for being who we are. But something we have control over and learn how to get control over again, like regain power of, is how we see and treat ourselves for being LGBT. Whether we're trans, gay, bi, non-binary, just being LGBT in general, we can regain power of how we see ourselves. Like how I overcame internalized transphobia, because when I first came out, I hated myself for being trans. I saw myself as a freak. I saw myself as ugly. It took a while for me to break out of that thought pattern and narrative and write my own and be like, hey, being trans isn't a bad thing. It's the people's perception of being trans that's bad, and other people's thoughts and beliefs that are imposed on me that is bad. Me being trans myself is not a bad thing, and I shouldn't feel ashamed for being who I am. Just like cis people don't feel ashamed for being cis. Rewriting the internal narrative we have about ourselves at least can help lighten the load, because if the world sees us in a bad way and we also see ourselves in a bad way, it's just another layer. But if the world sees us in a bad way, but if we see ourselves in a very positive way, being like it's okay to be LGBT or trans, etc., it can make a difference. It can make a difference. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I did. Yeah, it's a very different video for me. I've rewatched my short films before, but me singing is a different level for me, and it just hits different in a very uncomfortable way. But I'm glad I enjoyed through it. It was painful to re-listen to, but it was also a good reminder of how far I've come. And it's a nice looking back at where my headspace was at this point in time, like 2.5 years ago, about my trans identity. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one as always.